Hello, I'm Dennis Pullin. One of my favorite parts about being president and CEO of Virtua Health is getting to know our colleagues and the many ways they are here for good. Each person contributes to healthy communities, and each person has a story to tell. Let's meet one. Greg, welcome to Here for Good.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So you were recently promoted to Assistant Vice President over Security for all of Virtua. And prior to that, I know you were the Chief of Security at Virtua Camden, which is great.
Yes.
But even more unique to that, I know you and your family have there's a certain specialness about Camden for you and your family. Tell me a little bit about that.
My family moved to the city of Camden back in the 60s from Ocean City, New Jersey. And the first place she worked at was West Jersey Hospital. Camden really means a whole lot to me, so I'm invested in the city of Camden and all that we do there.
So you had a career in Camden prior to Virtua.
Yes, so right out of high school, I went to Fairleigh Dickinson University, came home for a summer job, and that summer job was to work with my father in landscaping. And one of the houses that we were cutting the lawn with was the undersheriff's lawn. So I asked him, were you hiring? And he said, yes, if you can be at the interview in a suit tomorrow, you can get the job. I went up there and got the job, and I was in law enforcement ever since.
What was that job?
Camden County Sheriff Department. I did 5 years there first, and then moved over to the Camden City Police Department, where I retired in 2013. Was a detective for most of my career, assigned to the U.S. Marshal's Office. I worked undercover in narcotics, and so I did various jobs in the city.
So keeping Camden safe was always important to you and clearly to your family. But then you became passionate about the health and well-being of the residents of Camden. What drew you in to wanting to be part of that healthcare journey?
Dennis, one of the things as a police officer, we think about the gladiator mindset that we don't get physicals, we don't get checkups, we only go unless we have a broken leg or something. So throughout my career, I never went to the doctors. So when I got this job, I met Dr. Randall, Dr. Jabril, and just really became an advocate for the city and the police department about getting checkups and making sure that you have routine visits with your primary care physician. So I'm actually like a beacon and a nexus to the community, to healthcare, where those that are a little afraid to go, I'm letting them know it's okay. Get checked out, and especially African-American race, that we tend not to go get checked up. And so I'm really pushing that, especially in the city of Camden.
So when we talk about the city of Camden, there is this renaissance that's happening there. And I know you have participated in something called Camden Cleanup.
Yes.
Can you share more about that and what that is and what drew you to that?
Well, one thing that drew me there was one of my classmates who is now the mayor, Vic Christopherson, and he reached out to me and said, Greg, I would love for Virtua to participate in this cleanup initiative. And most of the cleanups are around the hospital, so I really wanted to get the support from you and the rest of the system to come out and meet our patients where they are. Mm-hmm. So we really got out there and we started knocking on doors and, hey, Virtua is out here, we're cleaning up. And so I did it the first time, and then I said, wow, we're really, getting out there, engaging, almost reminded me of the days when I was in community policing. So we're using that mindset, finding out what the needs are of the community by cleaning and networking with others while we're doing this. So I'm rubbing elbows with the chief of police, the mayor, your community leaders, your physicians. Everyone is out there cleaning. So it's not just what you think, oh, we're going out to clean up some trash, but we're really engaging the community.
It really is a partnership.
Yes.
So you've been referred to as officer. You've been referred to as assistant vice president, dad, son, but I'm also told you're called coach.
Yes.
And I want to know, coach of what and for whom?
So that's a great question. I started coaching in the early 80s for a little league program called the Centerville Simbas. From there, I started coaching. I was a defensive coordinator for Camden High School for some years. And then I was,
You look like you might be able to still play a little bit, but
I don't know about
we'll talk about that
I
later.
don't know about these knees.
Okay.
They would say something different. But I also got a chance to coach at Winslow Township High School, Timber Creek High School. And then I opened up my own training facility where I was training athletes, but not just the physical part, the mental part. I brought a Christian part of it into it, and we really just started working on their character along with lifting weights.
So I know you have 3 sons.
Yes.
Have you coached any of the 3 of them?
I coached my oldest son went to the University of New Haven to play linebacker. My next son played for Rutgers as a strong safety. And now I have a 7-year-old Landon who's now just started practicing yesterday, coming out of retirement to coach.
That's a tough and a tall task. So I have a son. When he was 7, he talked me into coaching his YMCA basketball team. And the day we showed up, there was a young girl on his team who was better than all the boys. And he decided he wanted to be traded after that. So I gave up coaching. What values do you try to instill?
Well, the number one thing is to give back, to always give back. That's one thing that my mother, who came to the city of Camden not knowing anyone, but her whole model was to help others and to give back once you reach a certain point. We always want to reach back and grab someone and bring them along with us. Your success comes from the one you're pulling up.
You may have just answered my last question, and that was, what does being here for good mean to you?
Just bringing those along and helping them, and just knowing that they have a place that they can go to, helping them along the way.
Unfortunately, right now we see a lot in the news about violence and the security concerns throughout our nation, but more importantly in healthcare. Right. As the person who is charged with creating and implementing all of our safety precautions and our initiatives, what would you say to your colleagues about how they should feel and how they should act with regard to safety in the workplace?
Everyone coming in those doors, from the visitor, the patient, to your staff, treat them as family. And we really want to be able to greet those folks and be able to determine some of the risk factors just by engaging those that walk inside the door.
And that in of itself, you think, helps to mitigate, diminish, or create a certain space where people feel like they're part of what they're experiencing, so may not be as inclined to create issues?
Exactly. One of the things we did in the police department, we got out the cars and we started engaging the residents, and the crime rate went down. I'm taking that same philosophy. It is get from behind the desk, walk to the door, engage, greet folks. If you stand behind the door, you create an opportunity for those that might come in wanting to do harm. But if you engage them, they might have a second thought.
It sounds like what you're looking to do is to create ambassadors for our health system, as opposed to just security guards.
Exactly.
Well, Greg, I can't thank you enough for joining me. I can't thank you enough for all that you do, not just for Virtua, but for the city of Camden, for South Jersey in general. I think you have truly made an impact and have truly been here for good. So thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, Dennis. It was a pleasure.
So the pleasure was mine, having an opportunity to talk to Greg about the many wonderful things that he's doing, not only for Virtua, but throughout the South Jersey region. So again, tune in next time for another exciting edition of Being Here for Good.